Man, the Winnipeg Jets deserve better. I've been seeing so many negative headlines about this organization lately, and honestly, it actually makes me a little bit upset because I think that the team, the organization, its fan base, they are all just amazing. Like, I would love to move to Winnipeg just to become a Jets fan because it just feels like such an honor for some reason to go out there and watch Winnipeg hockey. So recently, in case you didn't know, PLD, Pierre-Luc Dubois, announced that he wants to be traded from the Winnipeg Jets, and I kind of was surprised by this. I felt like he was a great fit for the organization, and even though they had their problems like most organizations, I thought that he would be one of those players who stuck around. But after he was traded for Laine, you never know where he wanted to go. It was always speculated that he would have preferred going to Montreal, but I digress a little bit with that. So now with Laine over in Columbus and PLD requesting a trade, there's still a lot of unanswered questions for the Jets, especially when it comes to their UFAs. So Connor Hellebyuck, Mark Scheifele, and Blake Wheeler are all unrestricted free agents, and with their head coach calling them out for their lack of effort in the playoffs, I don't think the Jets are going to have a great future after all of this, and you're going to see a lot of trades coming out of Winnipeg this offseason. So starting with Blake Wheeler, he clearly isn't going to be in Winnipeg next year. Let's just be honest. He single-handedly called out the coach for his comments, saying, "I don't like how he handled this, should have done this privately." That doesn't mix well with a player like Blake Wheeler on your team. You can't have your veterans coming out and saying things like that. It's just not going to work in the locker room, so expect him to be traded this offseason. Then you got Mark Scheifele, who in my opinion is an absolute stud and would make a great fit on any team. So I don't know if he's going to want to re-sign with Kyle Connor over in Winnipeg, which then leads to the next problem. If Mark Scheifele leaves, if PLD leaves, if Blake Wheeler leaves, and potentially Connor Hellebyuck leaves, you think that Kyle Connor is going to stick around? No, he's not. So you're going to look at Kyle Connor leaving the Jets too, and where does that lead you? So if you're trading all of these pieces, like these star players, what are you going to get back? Are you going to try to trade guys like PLD for maybe trade him to Montreal for a guy like Doc? Or are you going to trade him for assets because maybe you just want to go into a full rebuild? Maybe this just isn't working for you anymore and you want to take the organization into a new place. And I think that that's a bad idea. And let me explain why. The Winnipeg Jets have a very small market, a loyal market, but it's very small. And right now, if you can't get fans into the seats, there's a chance that the Jets might have to leave Winnipeg if they don't build a roster that's worth watching. And right now, I think the Jets have a very compelling roster. But if the players aren't happy and you have to trade them away, you have to acquire new players that are ready right now because the Jets fan base deserves a competitive team. And if you don't have that team, you might just not have a hockey fan base that will come to the arena anymore. So I kind of want to hear what people think about this. What do you think the Jets should do? They're in such a tough spot. Should they re-sign Hellebyuck, Wheeler, maybe figure out a good deal with PLD, re-sign Mark Scheifele? Is that worth it because you still got Kyle Connor on the roster? What do you think? Or should they basically just go in another direction, full rebuild, and think that the fan base is going to stay loyal and be able to come back in a few years competing for another cup? I want to hear your opinions. Make sure you like the video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. I'll see you guys in the next one.